When the hospital doors swing open in an emergency, the last thing you want to think about is paperwork. You've been paying your monthly deductions. You assume you're covered. But under Kenya's new healthcare rules, making it to the ward is only half the battle. The Social Health Authority, or SHA, has replaced the old system of subjective approvals. You can no longer rely on a hospital administrator calling a government office and hoping a doctor approves your care. That entire process has been replaced by a rigid, algorithm-driven menu of standardized tariffs. The danger with a strict digital menu is its hard financial caps and aggressive anti-fraud filters. A hospital might look at a life-saving procedure your doctor ordered and claim it's not covered, either because the government won't pay the price or because a computer glitch blocked the claim. Handing over your ID card and hoping the hospital handles the rest is over. The burden of knowing exactly what you are legally entitled to has shifted entirely onto you. Your medical and financial survival now depends on understanding how this new system works. You have to memorize the specific limits, the exact exclusions, and the rules of the SHA menu before you ever walk up to the reception desk. The foundation of the SHA is the Primary Healthcare Fund. Think of this as your local Level 2 or 3 clinic. This tier covers your basic outpatient needs: routine consultations, immunizations, and standard antenatal services. The key financial advantage of this baseline is universal access. It is free for all registered Kenyans. You don't even need an active paid-up contribution status to walk in and receive these basic treatments. This official breakdown of the Primary Healthcare Fund shows the catch. Notice the text on the right: max 7 outpatient visits. That is a hard cap. Once you hit 7 basic clinic visits in a year, you are locked out of this free tier. Because this menu is strictly for the basics, complex needs like specialized MRI scans, major surgeries, or management for severe chronic illnesses are entirely excluded. Getting that care requires a formal referral up the chain. While the primary fund guarantees a free baseline for minor issues, its rigid visit caps and exclusions mean any serious diagnosis instantly ejects you into the restricted, paid tiers of the system. That brings us to the main engine for levels 4, 5, and 6 hospitals, the Social Health Insurance Fund, or SHIF. To access this tier, your monthly contributions must be fully paid up, and almost every procedure requires prior authorization. Every treatment here is bound by a standardized maximum payout. For example, if you go in for a normal delivery, the government strictly caps the hospital reimbursement at 11,200 shillings. If you require a C-section, that limit increases to 32,600 shillings. This table shows the standardized caps for inpatient medical services. If you are admitted to a ward at a Level 3 facility, the absolute maximum the SHA will pay is 2,400 shillings per day, covering a maximum of 50 days. This document outlines the much higher stakes for chronic care. It shows that oncology patients have an annual limit of 400,000 shillings under SHI for treatments like chemotherapy and radiation. That amount is drawn down on a reducing balance with every session you attend. But those limits only apply if the system approves your claim. To stop phantom billing, the SHA forces hospitals through a rigid digital filter. Your treatment isn't authorized until the system sends a one-time password, or OTP, to your phone, and you verify it in real time. The problem is that this anti-fraud algorithm lacks medical empathy. If a patient is in severe shock, international guidelines require hourly kidney function and blood tests. But when a doctor submits those life-saving rapid-fire requests, the computer flags them as fraudulent duplicate billing and instantly blocks them. This digital friction also controls your prescriptions. The SHA will only pay for specific medications certified by the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. You must confirm that the exact approved medicine has been physically handed to you before you ever provide the OTP to authorize the pharmacy's claim. SHIF opens the door to high-cost facilities, but the ultimate burden falls entirely on you. You have to aggressively audit your own care, caught between the medicine your doctor prescribes and the rigid rules a computer will actually authorize. So what happens when your SHIF limits run out or a catastrophic accident occurs? That is when the final tier is supposed to activate, the Emergency, Chronic, and Critical Illness Fund. This legal regulation defines the specific, severe events that bypass standard pre-authorization. If you suffer a major trauma, like severe burns, or go into cardiac arrest, hospitals are legally required to stabilize you first and draw from this automatic emergency fund later. Returning to the oncology benefits table, we see how this fund handles chronic patients. Once a patient entirely exhausts their initial 400,000 shillings shift cap, the text confirms they transition into an additional 150,000 shillings safety net provided by this critical illness fund. But despite the legal text, the physical reality at the casualty ward can be grim, because private hospitals and the government frequently argue over whether these emergency tariffs actually cover the cost of care. Facilities often choose to turn emergency patients away at the door rather than take the financial loss. The government has promised a final safety net, but that promise is only as reliable as the hospital's willingness to accept the tariff. Relying blindly on this fund during a catastrophe is a massive risk. The best way to navigate this friction is to use the demand by name protocol. This is a highly specific checklist designed to force the hospital administration to formally justify any denial of service. Step 1. When a hospital tells you a treatment isn't covered, ask the reception desk to state clearly which tier they are looking at. Make them confirm out loud whether they are billing the free primary healthcare fund or your paid SHIF account. Step 2. Ask the administrator for the exact standardized shilling amount the government has assigned to your case. Force them to acknowledge the specific tariff cap for your procedure. Step 3. If they insist a service is excluded, but your limit is drained, or that the digital algorithm rejected your claim, demand formal, written documentation of that denial. Do not walk away based on a verbal no. By forcing the hospital to provide written proof, you strip away the ambiguity of vague system errors. You hold them legally and visibly accountable to the exact menu the government published. Download the official published tariffs from the SHA portal today. Keep that document saved on your phone so you have the exact numbers ready to reference as a primary defense mechanism. Political disputes over tariffs and coverage limits will continue, but a registered patient armed with the exact rules who demands their benefits by name is the most powerful person in the waiting